Another question for you, all of you guys. Who so far has been your favorite enemy to fight? Anyone have an idea? Oh, David knows.
I think the big guy,
Yep, that was good.
the necromancer, right? That was that. Is that what it was?
The nose one?
I don't know, but he was scary. I almost died. And then someone else was unconscious. Were you unconscious? No, that was the whale. Moloch was unconscious. Yes, so that would be mine. Pretty epic battle too.
I almost died. Yeah.
I was like going to this because I was like, we're all gonna die. Like I was like,
I wasn't there yet.
That's right.
Yeah, that was intense. I was like, I was surprised we slipped through. So it felt like almost easily. I mean, I was like, I'm like the next one we're all gonna die, like for real. Like he's gonna bring it, and it's just gonna be scary. So we'll have to see what happens. I don't know.
So you like the intensity.
Yeah. No, I'm excited. I'm like, Dan, be meaner. You gotta be mean to us. Like you're the.
Tell him that.
I did. No, I was like, don't be nice because you're the bad guy too. So.
I will be in the back room crying. I will start crying.
Oh, I can't even think about that, but that is a possibility. Which
Let's not think about it.
Yeah. Another reason why RPGs are great because you never know what's gonna happen. Your character can die.
Yeah.
So. Phil knows.
Hit him down. Get him.
I feel like I just need to pull up my phone during half of this and just film Phil.
Yeah.
Just as then we'll like switch back and forth.
Yes.
Anyone else have their favorite enemy?
I loved, I think, facing off Defiant Riot in Chijeka's Jewel. Because I think more than any other fight thus far, it really felt like we were facing another team. I mean, which we were. Dan created them to be difficult. Dan created them to almost mimic us in what we're doing. Our little our little doppelganger people.
It's PvP.
It did.
When I'm playing Call of Duty the campaign, but then suddenly I'm in PvP with a bunch of twitchy 14-year-olds who are freakishly good at this. And wait a second. You're supposed to look at the wall while I shoot you. That's how this game is supposed to work.
That's right. And we did. I mean, our hero was crushed multiple times by that stupid mage. Good work, Dan. But I mean, I think that really gave a feeling to what tabletop RPG can feel like and look like. I have to say a very close second would be the fire demon ladies with the glass. I think for me as a character, it allowed me to see, I think, to the full potential of what our hero is probably capable of. He's not a person that has area attacks or can do all these little minion things like Tiri and Brick. He is a one-shot person, and he was able to do that quite well. And it was during that fight, we got to see probably what Open Legends is really capable of, because the Great Mustache was joining us for that with Felicity and Helga. And oh my gosh, all of a sudden, like Helga shows up and we're like, we're allowed to do that. Like, we're allowed to become a giant with two spears that extend farther than really should be allowed to, and kill everything instantly. We're allowed to. Oh, cool.
Cookies
okay.
Are this powerful?
Cookies and muffins. Everyone just make cookies and muffins wherever we go. I think we were given 3. I'm pretty sure I ate 6. And I'm not sure how that happened, but I'm pretty sure we're like, 5 episodes later, I'm still pulling out a muffin somewhere and eating it.
Put it in the comments below.
Yeah, that's it. But so Defiant Riot and then the fire demon ladies in the cave by far, I think, for me. So anyone else?
Zach, what do you think?
Do it. Oops, sorry.
Oh
no.
Oh
no.
My stomach gets like growling. Sorry.
That's what was Larry this whole time.
Just hold the microphone there.
It's a baby kick.
She needs
no.
some yogurt.
Don't say that.
No.
Oh my god.
Do I need to pass this back?
No.
Someone was gonna say it if I did.
Zombies.
There it is.
Sea zombies. Endless numbers of squishable, crunchable zombies. You can go pinball ham, squishable, crunchable sea zombies that you could just go murder happy on. No cares, no consequences. Just they're everywhere. That just means there's so much more for you. That's what I love. You know, you can take down this big bad necromancer thing. Whatever. You can only squish him once. Wait.
You can't even use bones, right? Like he doesn't squish.
So
Tyrion will find a way.
I will find a way. If there's a way to make it squish. Although I also, but though.
You sound like my 5-year-old. I want to squish it, actually, and stretch it and beat it. I'm with you. I'm tracking.
When he sees a bug.
Right.
But if I have to pick out an individual, Ulysses. I still miss Ulysses.
Yeah.
That was special.
That has been a while.
Ryan, so who's your favorite
sweet.
enemy?
Probably the best ending turnout.
That's true.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Reggie has stinky breath.
More sniffs.
More sniffs.
Good comment.
As
Can we subtitle that?
sniff, 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 sniff. As it has already been said, I think Nares is up there, especially for Brick. Just, I remember when fear actually hit Brick, and I don't know if you can hear my baby, but
He's squeaking.
he's happy
That's your
squeaking.
wife. What are you
Yeah, could be either. Dan did such a good job of like, oh, I thought Brick was done for. He's just running away. And then he's like, well, you can go up. And I'm like, oh, I can go up.
Oh,
Let's
that
go
was
up.
So nice.
And
I
just,
wasn't even there.
yeah, that you watched though.
I watched.
You were there in spirit.
You were there in spirit. That was so cool. But I also loved the giant spiders before that. When Iliad's, the blood splatters that just repeatedly, that was gold to me. I loved that. That was so much fun. So yeah, it's hard to pick, but I one of those two probably.
That's awesome.
Defiant Riot is up there, but it just made me so mad that it's hard for me to even say like yes. But it was epic.
I feel like we didn't get to finish
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we
because the
never
boat
do.
was sinking, and
That was the second time though too that
Yeah.
we bumped into them and they just
It's like
run
Team
away.
It's Team
Team
Rocket.
Rocket.
Oh my
They're
god,
blasting off again.
So yeah.
So, speaking of families, what do your spouses and your kids think of this? Do they watch it? Do they enjoy it? What are their thoughts? We're going.
Who is you
What
want to
does
go?
Oliver think of this?
Ain't nobody got time for that. No, Krista doesn't have time to watch. And nor sometimes she just doesn't get it. And I understand because I didn't get it. I've shown her clips. I'm like, oh no, this is a good part. Like if kind of scrubbing through some of the older episodes, and I'm like, no, see, isn't that good? And she's like, do you always talk like that? She's like, do you? I'm like, all right, fair point. Yes, I'm trying to do an accent, but yeah, right. I could do that at home. But Ryland, I was just trying,
You were trying.
if someone has an accent, they become infinitely more attractive. Unless, no, I won't pick an accent. I better not do that. But Ryland he's dying to do it. Anytime I leave, he's like, I want to go to Uncle Dan's, and he wants to play. So I don't think Addie gets it yet, but so be it.
Yeah. I could see Ryland getting into it.
Oh, he totally would.
Yeah. Well, I am married to the LM, so it's
Lucky.
so
Well, that's another thing. What's it like having your husband as
Yeah.
the LM?
yeah. Well, that's actually been hard because like he's like, there's so many things I want to tell you. He wants to like debrief a lot of stuff after, and he's just like, and I can't tell you it, and I'm like, let's call Janae, like bring Janae over. Let's call Phil. Yes, Phil came over not that long ago, and so he's finally able to just like talk through everything. So
He
yeah,
just needs someone to talk through it. Like that's
Yeah. You know, everybody does. You know, you get to the end and you're like, man, everything went horrible. And you're like, no, it didn't.
know.
You know, like everything is fine. It's good. So, but
They're still
I don't know.
on the dock.
We're still in the dock. I know that has been surprising how long it's taken us to get places. But I feel like now we're getting to that point where our characters are actually going to like really more interact and stuff, which will be a lot of fun.
60,
But
70,
I know, right?
67?
See, that's where I can see where people can play 3 hours every week and still have a like hard time moving along the story. And I'm like, wow, you know. So anyways, but we also have like an almost 3-year-old Torin, and he doesn't understand anything that's going on, but he loves dice. So he's had dice like for forever. So baby.
What do you
Hello.
think of RPGs? What do you think?
Relevant question. Oliver Gordon, how do you feel about your father engaging in tabletop RPGs for hours on end?
What do you think? Buddy?
Get a hold of this, Mike. My amazing, beautiful wife allows me to do this. Allows me. It's not like she has a whip and a chain.
Or does she?
Wish we could have gotten Phil's face on that one.
Wait, cover his ears.
Sorry.
Larry, don't listen.
Should I just let Rachel answer? This is my beautiful wife, Rachel, and my wonderful little baby, Oliver Gordon.
I wish you would poop all of a sudden.
Or throw up on you or something.
How do you feel about me playing tabletop RPGs? What are your general emotions about the topic?
That's a really good question.
Here, why don't you hold the mic? I'll hold the baby.
I am glad I'm married to someone who's so smart and is creative enough to do something like this, because I don't feel like I am.
Yes, you are. Rachel should be a guest player at some
You
point.
should. Do you watch it? Do you watch bits and pieces?
No, but I probably should know what's going on.
She gets so overwhelmed. She gets so overwhelmed by it.
Yeah, it's truly difficult for my brain to keep track of everything that's going on. So I think it would be a little bit overwhelming, but I'm glad you guys get to enjoy it.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Get Reggie. It's Katie's big. Yeah,
Katie,
we're
that's an amazing, I think, point. My wife has to watch with me because I am laughing at least 2 minutes ahead of when the story's like, I'm laughing and it's like our hero's just super brooding and serious, and she's like, what is so funny? And I'm like, no, wait, in like 2 minutes, like David's gonna fart and we're gonna have the best time, and this is why we do it. But it's, Katie definitely needs to be able to have the context and be able to go back. But she's been watching with me pretty regularly, which is awesome. It gives us a time to be able to experience it together. She was, and we've mentioned it a couple of times, but she was the voice.
Yes.
Of Marosha, yeah, and she just had such a ball with it. She can't wait till she gets to be able to join in with it. She is very much a theatrical person as well, and so she's excited. And we had so much fun doing it together with Dan and Kristen.
We should have a wives episode.
Oh my gosh, it'd be brilliant. As they play our characters, and whatever they do is canon. Oh.
It'll be wild and Austin.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Comment below if you want to see us. If you want to see that happen, comment below. Let us know. It'd be good.
Has to do both.
Dan has to do both. Yeah.
How it is.
Oh my goodness.
Awesome.
And we'll throw in my Austin too.
Yeah, they don't have to know previous past. They don't have to know anything. They just will play the characters.
Old content.
Oh my gosh. I'm so excited now. My kids love it. They don't watch it, but they love listening to me retell the story. So they want Dan just to be Nori forever. they love Nori. Even though they've never heard Dan say anything or whatever, they just think he would be the best uncle. So my kids, my family, they're all about it, and I think something that we've talked about in the past and is doing something for kids and having the kids. And you were saying you do it, don't you? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, what a cool idea! What a cool thing, and my kids would be all about it. So I think the families may or may not follow along in total or understand exactly what's going on. But I think, and we've said this before, they see that we're having fun. They see that we're having a good time. It becomes an outlet. It becomes something to do with each other. It builds a relationship. It extends the family beyond blood. And it's such a cool thing to be able to take part of. So that was a really long answer, as most of mine are. So I'm going to hand this off.
So I'm not sure how much of the actual videos my wife has seen, but that's probably because when I get when I get home
At 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
she indulges me telling the whole tale.
Wow.
So I get to tell her all of the things and it's great. So that's where she gets it. Yes. We actually met playing D&D. So before we were a thing, we were doing tabletop RPGs together for years. So she very much enjoys the game and indulges my having all of these crazy wacky adventures with my friends here and listening to the stories and helping me with filling out some things about like Pim Pam or the family. And she's my sounding board and helps me to come up with a lot of those ideas, even if it's just in listening to me and making some remarks on it and such. But she's my best friend, and so I love sharing this all with her.
What does Avi think?
Avi really doesn't understand or know it yet. I feel like we're at the point where we're sharing adventure stories and he loves the fantasy stories that we're able to tell him and that he comes up with telling himself. So he's going to very much look back on this and love seeing me do all of this crazy stuff and digging into the world of it. So, but not quite yet. He's not quite there.
Cool. Awesome. So it's kind of like a last question here for the whole group. Where do you want to see your character going after this? I mean, just tell me a little about what you like about your character, what's your least favorite thing about your character, and where you'd like to see them going. Ooh.
Now you're ending with a punch in the face.
I am, yeah.
All right.
You gotta keep them coming.
That's it.
I kind of already touched on it, but just how
He would like
Brick. Oh, this is
What would you like to say?
This is Ollie's answer now. Brick cannot take anything seriously, and I would love to see. I truly do not know if he's ever going to get to this point. I would love to see him grow.
Just you're up.
I would love to see Brick grow to a point where a situation or something arises where he has to take it seriously, and taking it seriously means something and it changes him. Maybe that will happen over a long period of time. Maybe it will be a moment. I don't know. Maybe it'll never happen. But I would love to see Brick get there. And it's almost like personally, I would love to see myself get there as well. Like, it doesn't always have to be a joke. Playing tabletop RPG doesn't always have to be about let's laugh as much as possible. 'Cause there's so much more there. The concept of crying over a tabletop game, like at the surface, it sounds ridiculous, but when you think about it as a story, like don't think about it as, you're playing Call of Duty online, but just with dice on a table. It's a story that's it's like a Google Doc where everybody's just writing the story at the same time, and
You really
that's
get
what it
emotionally
is.
Invested.
Yeah,
You really do.
it's a story that you're emotionally invested in because
More like
you're
a
in
TV
it.
series
Yeah.
that you're interacting with than anything.
If you cry at a dramatic and beautiful moment in a story, a movie that you're watching, and that just means that they're doing their job well.
Yeah.
It means that they've put the emotion into it.
Make Daniel happy if you guys cried.
And like, how much more emotion investment do you need to get when it's, your friends and your family and a story you've been working on for years? Like, really grand moments really do happen, and those things are often, they're unscripted, they're unforeseen, and they come about naturally. And when they do, they touch the emotions. We're invested in stories and characters and people the same way you would in a book or a movie, or maybe even a good ballad if you like folk. So
what about you for Thierry? What's your least favorite flaw, or even just personality trait of Thierry?
Least favorite is hard. Because like favorites is attitude. I love playing the attitude. That one's the easy answer. Least favorites is not really playing a character that has a specific goal or a drive in mind. I like to play characters where there's a goal and a mission and a drive to do something. But Thierry's not that kind of a character. She cares about raising her kid. She cares about getting that thrill of the moment because gnomes are intrinsically an adrenaline junkie. She cares about the relationships between people. And yeah, if there's like a mission going on, like she has a vague idea, and I personally try to keep like this a vague idea of something really big and bad is happening in the world, but she'll takes the mission one step at a time and kind of drives at that. So it does sometimes bother me that she can't just be like, well, here's my goal is to get some powerful magic spell, or really want to kill this villain, and it's smaller kinds of things that mean very, very, very much. And so where does she, I guess it blends into where does she want to go? At some point, I think I'd like to see her bump into her husband and see if we could find a way to work out some of those feelings and some of those issues on it. Would be very interesting. I have no idea how that would go.
Everyone else leaves the room.
Marital counseling for gnomes. I like the idea of her finding a way of incorporating Pim Pam growing up in it. That's something I'd be very excited to see. And I'm almost afraid of what that could mean for limitations, but raising kids is a trade-off. You give up some things to give some things to them. And I want to play that into the character a little bit more. So as far as things that I just don't like, there's...
Thierry's too
I don't
good.
know.
She's too great. I not like her.
I love my gnome family, and so we'll see where it plays out and through, and I'll throw this in for lack of coming up with a good thing I really hate. The hate of soup is natural. I hate soup. I hate soup with a passion, and letting that come through. It's not food. It is dirty leaf and meat water. It is. That's what it is.
Don't ever call soup. That's not a dinner. It's
Preach
an
it.
appetizer at best. All right, appetizer at best.
Where did this
Best
anger
case
come
scenario, soup is an appetizer. Don't put soup in front of me and say it's dinner. Okay, sorry.
Do you mind?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Stew is this is true. All right, I have a date tonight, so I gotta go.
He got a hot date.
So if I think to get serious right now, no, I think for me where I want to see Iliad go is that right? That was the question.
Where to go, kind of general question.
I would love to see Iliad basically to put it into like one word. I just want to see him mature. Because I think he is the youngest one in the team or group in Bittersweet. And I want to see him get to a point of realization and coming to grips with past and present and potentially, future. And to see how his character, and really for me, like, how on earth do I play someone like that character, combining the things that he's experienced in his past with kind of the part of his phase right now where in a way he's almost kind of glossing over it, and understanding how that actually impacts him. And it's almost like a rising and a coming above it. I want to see how he's gonna, based on the things that we're gonna experience now as, in the coming story, to figure out how will he handle that in knowing what's happened in the past, and how will it lead him to be a stronger person in the future. So, anyways, we'll see. Yeah. Toodles.
Love you, buddy.
Thanks for being here.
Have a fun hot day.
Absolutely.
So I guess I can like piggyback off of that because I think that our story is kind of run for it. Reeks. I think the story is coming around to this, like, we had our Shire moment. This is so sweet and nice, and now we're like, oh no, like our band is now, like, I think kind of making a turn. So I'm hoping, like, for Ingrid, I feel like she's been this, like, really goofy character as well, kind of similar to Brix, she's been, like, really funny and goofy and stuff. And I'm excited to see people get to know her more, because I'm realizing, like at the beginning of this, I was like, people don't know who Ingrid is. She's just, like, being funny and all this stuff. And, like, I really want her to come out and, like, who is she? Where did she come from? Like, all this kind of stuff that we. So I'm just, like, really excited for this like new arc coming up, that it's gonna get really, like, deep. Hopefully we'll keep our lightheartedness, but it's gonna get, like, our characters are gonna get to know each other better, and, like, it's just we're gonna have that crying moment. It's gonna happen. So yeah.
Dan's gonna cry.
Yeah, I want to piggyback off of that.
He'll cry. He will.
Oh, I love that, man. But piggybacking off of both what you and Zach had talked about, just like it's tears in the context of tabletop, and where I want to see us go is a sense of vulnerability, and both as players, both as, like, David, Austin, Kristen, Zach, like Dan too, just all of us playing as players, just being able to be vulnerable about the way that we appreciate story and the way that we create story. But then having that come through our characters, and which goes back to what I was talking about with Brick. Just, he's, like, at this point, he's not willing to be vulnerable. He will douse any ounce of authentic emotion with enough sarcasm to the point where you can't even see it. And I would love for vulnerability to emerge in the story, in our characters, and even just as players in us. Just because it's been like a year and a half of we are just having a hoot and a half. And
We're in the Shire,
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it is getting intense, though. The reality of what's going on in this world is starting to come through.
And I would love to see that settle in, and, like, wow, like, we can still have, like, it's fun to watch The Office, but it's also fun to, to watch. I'm trying to come up with, like,
Jim and Pam?
No.
Okay.
I was going to say Lost, but I know people have some, like, really strong feelings about that. So I know I said it. Or, okay, what about, like, the last episode of Fringe, if anybody watched that? Like, it's really good, and it's
I looked for plot holes,
couldn't find it. But just, like, it's like there can be a beauty to enjoyment. Doesn't have to be I'm laughing. Enjoyment can be
Like Digimon Season 3.
yes, actually yes. It doesn't have to, like, yeah. So I'll hand it off to Austin.
Kristen, you don't like Digimon. No, I didn't.
That was for you, Dan.
I was here. You went totally
That was-
song with me.
That was for you. Yeah.
I didn't get to show a thing like Macbeth.
Macbeth.
Like Macbeth. It doesn't all have to be laughter.
Yes.
Perfect. It's perfect. our Kiro's all about the mission, all about the next step. In part, as far as he's concerned, his mission's over. So he's excited for the next part of it. In his personal storyline, he's a part of a much bigger story, specifically with his people, that is completely separate from them. And that's not necessarily a secret. I don't think we've touched on it too much. There's been little bits and pieces to it. But there are aspects of his story yet to unfold personally. And whether it's with this group or with another, he's still a part of it. Whatever Dan decides to do, great, awesome. But he's excited for the next step. He's excited for the next mission, and whatever that entails. Me, Austin, I am excited, I think, for the deepening of character development. I think what's been shared around here a lot. I love the idea of deep integrated relationships. I love the idea of storytelling and not to say that we are Tolkien's or C.S. Lewis's or by any means, or these grand storytellers, but it's taken us a year and a half, and I haven't even been a part of that entire year and a half to be able to tell the story thus far, and we are at the tip of the iceberg. And so I think for me, it's hard not knowing the end. It's hard being a part of. It's not like I can read ahead. It's not like I can read the book and read the last chapter. It's just kind of unfolding as we go, and that's difficult, I think, for me, Austin. I think it's extremely difficult for our Kiro, but I think that's the fun of it. So, being able to develop relationships, and I think on a much more personal level, that is far more true, I think, with the relationships that we are developing as us as friends, and family. It's us being able to come together once a month, or maybe even sometimes more, to see each other, to be with each other for a number of hours.
Like that fellowship in a way.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, to eat with each other, to drink with each other, to have that time just to spend, and to have our families become even closer.
In a really busy season of our lives, like we all have kids, and we're all, we're married, and we're doing life,
and jobs and things we're moving. I mean, you guys just in the process of moving.
We're moving in a week, less than a week.
and I would say, in slight sidebar, stay tuned for that, we're going to have so many cool behind the scenes of like the new space and new studio, new place for us to be able to go and hang out. And I'm really excited for that. And so hopefully within the next little bit, we'll be adding in some new things about that space. So, but I'm excited for you guys. You guys just moved recently. We moved recently. You moved recently. Yes, we're here. This is it. But I mean, life is crazy. Life is nuts. And here we are taking the time out of that craziness to be able to be here. But it is not in vain at all. It is for a beautiful purpose for us to get together and be together. So I'm excited. I'm excited that it's going to continue and develop even more. So again, long answer, but it's good.
And shout out to Dan, just like Dan and Kristen. Like we're like kind of the core heart, the beating heart of BombSquad, of Avenue Studios, and it can't be understated the amount of time and effort and mental, emotional energy that
all-nighters
that Dan spends on this. Yeah. And there's a core community that enjoys this, and he slaves for this, and I think it's beautiful as a result. So I just want to shout out Dan as Legend Master and
we love you, Dan.
Lead author of this story, as we are all underlings of him. As we
don't kill our characters.
Yeah, don't kill me. Don't kill me, Dan.
We've been his underlings our whole life, though.
Yes.
As his younger siblings.
So yes, Dan, love you. You're doing great. Proud of you. Right?
Yeah. Oh, really. And for people, for you who are watching too, who have been who have subscribed or who have just continually just been able to watch the videos. Thank you for being a part of this as well.
Yeah.
We do this for us. We do this for you to be able to extend the idea of being creative through tabletop and through storytelling. This is just one venue and one format for that to happen, but we love it. And so we thank you for being able to take part in that, just even by watching and subscribing and liking it. So share it with your friends. And hopefully this behind the scenes look to what we do, to how we think about characters. This is definitely not going to be the last time that we do this. But hopefully you get just a little bit of an idea of maybe what goes into some of these. It's not, some of these sessions, some of these character developments. It's not just people sitting at a table just rolling dice. It's a lot more than that. And so hopefully that insight brings more to the table. See what I did there? See what I did there? All right, cool.
It's good.
Well, yeah. Thank you guys. So that was close. God.
Also, can we shout out Phil?
Shout out to Phil. Phil, come here, Phil. Come here, Phil.
Constantly behind
Come
the
here.
scenes, always doing something.
We couldn't do
never
this
seen.
without him. He is the person we call when we're in trouble. Mr. Berggren. Yay! Do you have any words to say?
The camera over so you couldn't see this end of the couch.
So still a mystery. Can we just have the voice? Oh my gosh.
No, mouth. Remember Phil's sound joke? Just
Yes.
so many family inside jokes.
Phil, words.
Words.
What have
Phil.
you in the past
What are the
18
words?
months?
What?
In the past 18 months, what has it been like?
Lots of late nights, lots of hanging out, but honestly, like a really good time at the same time for as much work as is put into this and as much just stuff and effort and taking time out of people's lives that goes into this. Everybody always has a lot of fun. People are constantly laughing, little breaks, snacking, just jokes, and it's actually a lot of fun. It really it makes it easier to just spend those late nights kind of sitting there and watching after the equipment and stuff, and just to be able to see you guys interact is pretty awesome. So
Thank you, Phil.
Phil, yay! Yeah, seriously, Phil's huge help. So yeah, thank you to everyone for watching this, getting to know us a little better. Again, help us to really build this open legend community and RPG. So continue watching. Like we've said, the story is only kind of the beginning. Just to develop this story. A lot of crazy stuff's gonna happen, a lot of more adventures, and it's getting more intense. So we're excited, and hopefully you are too. So we will see you guys later. Bye. Like and subscribe.
What does Dan always say?
Oh yeah, how do we close it? What are the shout outs?
Remember all the shout outs.
Sirenscape.
Sirenscape.
Oh shit.
Inn of Planar Crossroads. I remember that.
The Great Moustache.
Thing going on.
Yes. Who did the dice pads? The dice pads.
Crystal Sully.
Crystal Sully.
Yes.
Yes. And Austin Curtis for the drawings.
Yes.
Yes. The drawer rings.
Roar.
Yeah. I think that's how he does it. Anyway, sorry, Dan. We can't be as great as you. So, all right. Thank you, everyone. And we will see you in the next episode. Bye.
That's the beginning.
I have no idea how he closes it.
Canon. All right.
How'd you feel about that?
Okay.
Great.
That was
good?
great.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I don't wanna
I
miss
think
anything
that we should have had that like 6 months ago and a
Right.
year back. Like,
I know.
like
I feel like I still didn't feel natural, but like,
Oh man,
worked with it.
guys,
I
this is
should
so
hit
good.
stop.
That was good. Yeah, Phil, what do you think being behind the scenes?